Hi everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I want to discuss the best performance upgrade that you can fit on your bike. You can't see it because it's the pedal technique that you can develop to get the best power transfer through the pedal, and I want to describe my experience in finding what works at best for me. Yeah, we do as cyclists live in this myth that you can just buy speed, buy power with, I don't know, new wheels, an aerodynamic frame or a hole in the bike. This, of course, conception that you can just upgrade and get faster, I fall for that as well. Every time a new bike comes out, I would love to get it, need to limit myself because of course the budget. But in reality, the very best performance that you can get is through developing the best technique on the pedals and of course the position on your body. And in the past, in a couple of videos, I might have used some terminology like pulling up on the upstroke that I now revisited, and I wanted to clarify some of my findings. And to do so, I will use again my friend here to see what is considered to me the performance position on the bike. The new introduction of my freccione, which is the big arrow. Freccia in Italian is arrow, and I linked the freccione, the arrow, with a giveaway in my previous video. Yes, the freccione comes from a very famous Rolex watch, a 1655 Explorer 2, and it's quite interesting because that watch internationally is indicated by the term freccione, because freccia, arrow, big freccia, freccione was a term that Italian collectors gave to their watch. Some call it Steve McQueen as well. Now, it's not really known why it's called Steve McQueen, because Steve McQueen never used that watch. His favorite watch was not the Tag Monaco. His favorite watch was the Rolex Submariner. The Tag Monaco was only worn in a film. But again, the arrow will be extremely useful for me to identify where the pressure in the various stages of the pedal will be, indicating the power transfer and how I interpret the pedal stroke and the movement throughout the whole revolution. First one would be the cleat position. I touched on this in a couple of videos as well. Personally, I find it extremely beneficial to put the cleats backwards, because in my mind the pedal spindle will need to be not on the first metatarsal like this way, but would need to be aligned at least behind the fifth metatarsal on your, like say the small toe here. This will give you the best pressure when you push down and working in isometric way for your leg to drive all the power through. Now, at first, if you do have your cleats forward, let's say like that, when you apply the shoe on the pedal, it's almost like you have an even longer crank that increases your leverage, maybe too much, while at the same time you might feel pushed backwards to actually rotate the pedals. This at the same time connected with the plumb line on your knees. This is my self-made one that I used to measure, where you need to measure from your knee and checking where the plumb line falls on the pedal spindle. These two, I would say, old style way of setting yourself on the bike might cause a quite backwards position, almost like someone sitting quite upright. And eventually the power transfer would be from here, almost like pushing forward. That to me is not the most efficient way to pedal. And while also researching for the best pedal technique, I came across an article where I found this graph showing the pressure that you put on throughout the pedal stroke, and again it looks to me not really relevant for an aggressive position on a road bike, because again, like I would say in the traditional way of setting up with the cleat forward and the plumb line with the axle on the plumb line, you might end up pushing this way a bit forward and try to push downwards, almost pointing down the foot, and you might lose at this stage a lot of power, because if you keep pushing this way, there's not really much way forward that you can do, and you might lose all the power that you could exert on the pedal at this stage. Now, some people say that here there might be a upward pressure applied when you actually lift up the pedal. I don't agree with this. Maybe I use this pulling up in a wrong way in my videos about the saddle height. I kind of understand now where the best pressure will need to be put on the pedal to get the most power, and in my mind will need to be, first of all, by using a backwards cleat position like that, and also forgetting about the plumb line from the knee to the pedal spindle. Try to understand how to get into a more aggressive position on the bike, so almost like if the graph will need to be rotated forward. So in this case, to me, starting from this position, because you are already forward in a more aggressive and athletic position, pushing not forward but already down and almost to the back. So in this case, a pointed toe is not actually pointing the toe, because you will have a lock in the calf and the anterior tibialis muscle, and you will push downwards from here, and at this stage, with the correct muscle high, you will engage the hamstring to actually transfer the power almost sideways to push hard on the transfer of the pedal from, let's say, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And at this stage, the pedal on the other side will increase the pressure, and on here you don't pull up, you just naturally have your pedal coming up, and from here, starting again with a very hard push, moving backwards and transferring the power this way. So to me, is the best power combination and the best use of your legs, because if you are sitting, of course, too high and only concentrating on the push, you will end up pushing, then extending the leg fully without being able to engage your hamstring. So in this case, instead of doing this, you will push this way. Then to me it feels odd to see riders that are quite far behind, and at the same time being so far behind will inevitably create problem on the back, because then if you want to reach forward, you need to have a weird angle, and a lot of riders say, oh, I need a shorter stem. I'm not sure whether the need for the shorter stem actually comes from the wrong setting down below. While if you are consistently slightly more forward and in an aggressive position, then the angle of the neck and back might be more convenient, and the reach will not be an issue even using normal stem or even longer. Yes, of course, everything is connected. You need to have the correct saddle height to be able to engage the hamstring on the bottom part of the pedal stroke. You need to have the correct 4.5 for the saddle, because again, if you are too far behind, you won't be able to reach that aggressive position. And of course, the height of your handlebar will need to be adjusted to make sure that at your favorite angle, you find your hand at the right height. But everything starts, to me, from the pedal movement. Everything starts for you to find out the lock of the ankle and this isometric push where the calf and the lower leg muscle are contracted, but they don't actually move the ankle. So you can, at this stage, put all your weight through without having the need to point and move the ankle, because at this stage, if you want to put all your weight down, if you have to use the ankle, you will lose power, because the calf muscle is not really designed at this stage to withstand all your power. That's why the forward clip position is not ideal in my mind, because you can't really transfer the full weight if your cleat are too far forward. It's like doing squats on the tiptoe or trying to do ballet. So it's really difficult to put all the pressure down. So cleat backwards, to me, the best power transfer at this stage when you have locked your ankle and you push down. As they say, scrape the mud from your shoe to use the full power of your hamstring for this bottom part of the stroke. And from here you can release and go to the full revolution. This is, to me, really the best position. So if you are standing up on the pedals, you will do more or less the same. You will lock the ankle, you stand up on the pedals, you push your way a lot more forward, and maybe the power transfer would be even further behind. So you will push really hard in this position, and then even more to the back. At the same time, when you go back on the saddle, you don't want to lose this, and you don't want to lose that power. So you want to still, within reason, be in a good position to exert the power, still going this way rather than this way. Guys, to me, made a huge improvement. And I don't have a power meter, so I can't show you any hard data, but it worked for me. I can check my Strava. That's the only measurement of the performance I'm using. I do the same segments all year round because, yes, I commute with the bike and I can really see how the performance has improved, and it was a game changer for me. And there's a lucky winner of the jersey, the Siroko jersey long sleeve gravel, and he's going really close. Not, he's going to the possibly the furthest location from London, is going to Hawaii, and I'm really happy that, you know, someone in Hawaii is looking at my videos, and I'm very glad that he's going to receive that jersey. Next time I want to do a better version of the raffle, another giveaway, and I will put all the correct answer together, and then after maybe a week or 2 weeks, do an extraction of all the correct answer, which I think is bit fairer. And this time I didn't really thought it through properly. Next time I will do something better. I love bike fitting, as you know. I think there's a lot to gain from the correct position and the correct technique on the bike. Let me know your comments. I really want to hear from you how you interpret the movement for your best power and comfort, and I would love to, of course, get your subscription and likes as usual. Thank you again for watching. See you to the next video. Ciao.